Dear boys, let us continue the second part of the chapter Understanding Diversity of Class 6 Civics. All of you see in page number 6. Make a list of the festivals that might have been celebrated by the two boys. In our previous discussion, we found that Shamir Ek and Shamir Do, their differences we find there. Shamir Ek, you have to write here festivals. What are the festivals Shamir Ek celebrated? Shamir Ek, he belongs to Hindu. So, Hindus' festivals, you have to list here some of his festival. Then Shamir Do belongs to Muslim community. You have to write Shamir Do's festivals name like Eid, Idul Juha, Ramzan, like that. Can you think of a situation in which you made friends with someone who was very different from you? Write a story that describes this. It is your own opinion you have to write. In addition to their diverse religious and cultural backgrounds, there are other ways in which Samir Ek and Shamir Do are different from each other. In addition to their diverse, their religions is not same. Their cultural background is also not same because one belongs to Hindu community, another belongs to Muslim community. There are other ways in which Samir Ek and Shamir Do are different from each other. For example, while Samir Ek goes to school, Samir Do sells newspaper like this. So let us see the next paragraph of the chapter. Shamir Do did not have the opportunity to attend school. Perhaps you have noticed that there are several people in the area where you live who are poor and who don't have enough to eat or wear, and sometimes not even a place to live. Samir Do did not have the opportunity, he did not have the chances to attend school because he was belongs to a poor family. Perhaps you have noticed you yourself you find that there are several people in your locality who are poor and who do not have enough to eat or wear, and sometimes not even a place to live. They do not have even proper place for their shelter, a proper shelter also. This difference is not the same as the one we have seen earlier. Here we are talking not of difference but of inequality. Inequality comes about when a person does not have the resources and opportunities that are available to other persons. See, inequality, when does it arises? When does it come? It comes about when a person does not have the resources or chances that are available to other person. The caste system is another example of inequality, different castes in the society which are persistent. This is another example of inequality. According to this, society was divided into different groups depending upon the work that people did, and they were supposed to remain in those groups. Society's division you see here into different groups which are depend upon the work that people did, and they were supposed to remain in those groups. So if your parents were potters, you could only become a potter, nothing else. This system was considered irreversible, not able to undo. And because you were not supposed to change your profession, whatever profession used to do by your, say, parents, that one you won't like to change it. It was not considered necessary for you to know anything more than what you needed in your profession. This created a situation of inequality. This one, it creates a condition of inequality. You will read more about this and other inequalities in the following chapters. About these inequalities, you will study in the following chapters. The chapters which are coming. In that chapters you can read about that. What does diversity add to our lives? See, what does varieties add to our lives? Just like Shamirek and Shamirdo became friends, you might have friends who are very different from you. You have probably eaten different kinds of food in their homes, celebrated different festivals with them, tried out the clothes they wear, and learned some of their languages as well. Make a list of the food that you have eaten from different parts of India. Then another question, make a list of the languages besides your mother tongue. So most of you, as you belongs to Manipuri, so Manipuri is your mother tongue. So make a list of the languages besides. Besides means more over your mother tongue that you can speak at least one or two words of. You have to write one or two words of that different language which you can speak. Let us proceed to the next page, page number 7. You probably like reading and hearing stories and adventures about different animals, people, and even ghosts. Adventures means an unusual and exciting or daring experience. You probably like reading and hearing stories of this type of about different animals, people, and even ghosts. Perhaps you even enjoy making up stories yourself. Many young people feel happy when they read a good story because why it is so? Because it gives them lots of ideas to make up more stories. People who write stories get their ideas from all sorts of different places. Those people who write stories, they get their ideas to write another new story. Their ideas they get from all sorts of different places, from books and real life, and from their imagination, from their thinking. Imagination means thinking. Some may have lived in forests close to animals and chosen to write of their fights and friendships. Others read real accounts of kings and queens and wrote stories about love and honor. Some dipped into their own childhood memories of school and friends and wrote stories of adventure. Sorry, boys. See, um, according to different situation, some may have lived in forests close to animals and chosen to write their fights and friendship with those of animals. Sorry. Then some dipped into their own childhood memories of school and friends and wrote stories of adventures. They might like to write this type of stories. Imagine if all the storytellers and writers that you have heard and read so far were forced to live in a place. Sorry, boys. Let me repeat once more. Imagine if all the storytellers and writers that you have heard and read so far were forced to live in a place where all people wore the same two colors, red and white, ate the same food, maybe potatoes, took care of the same two animals, for example, the deer and the cat, and to entertain themselves, played snakes and ladders. What kind of stories do you think they would write if everything is same? Diversity in India. So let us see diversity. Okay, where in India, why and how that means in India diverse is there, that variety is here. India is a country of many diversities. India it is a land of many varieties. Varieties you see, it means we speak different languages, have various types of food, celebrate different festivals, practice different religions. But actually, if you think about it, we do many things that are similar, except that we do them in different ways. See, though we speak in different languages and we have different types of food, we celebrate different festivals, practice different religions, but actually, if you think about it, we do many things that are similar, that are same. We used to do, except that we do them in different ways. How do we explain diversity? So, how do we explain these varieties? Let us see. A little more than 200 years ago, or long before the train, aeroplane, bus, or car became a part of our lives, people traveled from one part of the world to another in ships or horses, on camels or on foot. During those days, when there was no bus, no car, no aeroplane, no train. At the time, people they traveled from one part of the world to another part in ships, on horses, or on camels, or on foot. These were the means of their transport at that time. See, boys, let us see page number 8. Here, one work you have to do. List at least three different ways in which people in India do the following. One of the possible answers has been provided for you already. You practice it. If you have any troubles regarding this, you can ask me. Different ways in which people pray. See, the first one I'm telling you, through singing a hymn to appreciate God. Means here. Then through reading namaz, or through offering pray. Through offering pray, it is basically used to do by the Christians. Like this, different ways in which people get married. This one you fill up all this, okay? Now let us see. Often they went in search of new lands or new places to settle in, or for people to trade with. So those people, they we used to travel from one part of the world to another in ships, horses, camels, etc. They went in search of new lands or new places to settle in, to live there, or for people to trade with means do business with others. And because it took so long to travel, once they got to a place, people stayed there, often for a long time. Yes, there were no means of transport nicely, which we are getting nowadays. So if once they reach there, they used to stay there for a long time. Many others left their homes because there were famines. Famines means extreme scarcity of food, lack of food, and drought. Drought where there is lack of water, dried everything. And they could not get enough to eat. Some went in search of work while others left because there was a war. So according to that, we find there different situation bound them to move from one place to another, to left that place where they were living. Sometimes, as they began to make their homes in new places, people began to change a little, and at other times, they managed to do things in the old ways. Sometimes, you see, as they began to make their homes in new places, people people began to change a little, and at other times, they managed to do things in the old ways, in the old fashion. So their languages, food, music, religions became a mix of the old and the new. And out of this intermixing of cultures came something new and different. So by mix up of that, it existed as different. The history of many places shows us how many different cultural influences have helped to shape life and culture there. The history of many places, it shows us how many different cultural affected have helped to shape life and culture there. Thus, Regions became very diverse because of their unique stories. Similarly, diversity also comes about when people adapt their lives to the geographical area in which they live. In the same manner, diversity it also comes about when people adapt their lives to the geographical area in which they are living. For example, living near the sea is quite different from living in a mountainous area. The living standard of you see those who are living those who are living near the sea, their lifestyle is quite different with those of who are living in the mountainous area. So let's up we